I'm the owner of Diana Darby Model Management. I've been in the modeling biz for over 10 years. I started my company about 6 years ago in 2013. So I have experience in being an agent. I have worked with models, booked models, trained models, got them jobs, worked with clients to get them jobs. One of my very first booking, the very first one I did was for this Indian designer named Simate, and she was showing in New York Fashion Week, and that was my very first gig. The two models that I booked for her, for the most part, were not Indian, but they passed enough, so they looked the part. But and I got a chance to go up to New York Fashion Week with her. Thank you on that trip. And then right after that, barely had time to breathe and sit. And my boss had me booking models for Miami Swim Week, which is a big to do in Miami. So that's how I got started in the business in terms of the modeling business. I mean, I was kind of thrown in there. What happened was I was volunteering for this fashion show called Crystal Couture, and I saw the agent there that was providing models, and I stepped up to her and I said, I'd like to talk to you to be a scout or a booker, and she knew exactly what that meant. Basically, I was asking to get in on the low level, okay? I wasn't trying to get in there and be like, I'm an agent. Okay, because I didn't know a damn thing about being an agent, but from research and reading and all of that, I understood the levels of the employment in the agency. Booker, scout, or it's scout, booker, manager, owner. It kind of goes in that order, okay? But she told me that she was looking for a manager, and would I be interested in applying for that? Of course. And so I did, and she hired me to be a model manager. So that's how I learned a lot of the ins and the outs that I know as far as working in the modeling business and working for models. So that's a little bit about me. I've been training. Ever since I've been in this, I've been training. So now I've finally focused my attention on my classes. I have a development program that I run, a portfolio builders workshop that I do, and of course I do these classes on a regular basis. So I'm concentrating more on that and kind of phasing out of the agent route. And that was another reason why I wanted to do this meeting with you guys. As I said before, a lot of you have a lot of questions. Antonio has texted me. Anye has reached out to me. Jennifer, I met at DMV Fashion Week. Treya reached out to me. I think this is something you should be interested in listening to. Amani, who is also a model, but she's here to learn. She wants to work with me. She wants to learn the modeling business. And so I'm going to start working with her. She's going to be my intern for the most part. And she's going to be helping us at the show. All right, guys. Questions? Yes, Mr. Antonio.
So, well, I think we talked briefly the last time we saw each other. I pretty much want to follow into your footsteps as well with being a runway coach.
Okay.
Being a posing coach. I have a huge vision. I haven't put anything on paper yet, but I'm in the process of doing that. But I have a huge vision because I'm very bizarre by what I'm looking for and what I want to do when it comes down to modeling. When it comes down to makeup, I'm not a makeup artist, but when it comes down to a certain type of makeup and posing and all of that other different stuff and clothing styles. So I just want to know exactly how can I just branch off into like following your footsteps into doing that.
Well, how I did it is, as I said before, when I volunteered at that fashion show, and we were at the volunteers meeting, and me with the big mouth that I have, I was talking about, oh, I do runway, and da-da-da-da, practicing at home, la, la, la. And the producer heard me. She was right there. She was like, oh, you do? Well, show me what you got. So she put me on the spot. I walked for her. She liked it. And she said, okay, you're going to be the runway coordinator for the show from here on out. So that's how that kind of started. But I was prepared. I have been practicing at home because this was during the day in the 90s when it was like there was major modeling shows on. There was Fashion Foul, there was Fashion Television, there was Style on CNN with Elsa Clinch. I mean, my whole weekend was like fashion TV, and it was like candy for me. So they had, you got to see shows, snippets of shows. They did interviews with the models. This was the heyday of the 90s of the, the supermodels, the Naomi Christie, Linda, Helena, the girls, Cindy, Claudia, all of them. So there was interviews of them. So it was like, having your own little fashion TV well, for me, in the house for the whole weekend. So watching that, just learning things about the designers, different taste and styles, looking at the runways, stuff like looking at the models on the runway. Yasmin Glory was a top runway model back then. She was a catwalk stalker. I mean, look her up. She burned it. She just burned it, honey. Look her up. So getting to see things like, it was back in the day when it was all about the male models too, like Marcus Schenkenberg. Who is this guy right here? You know, for the most part, he was like the world's first male supermodel. So you got to see everything. I just basically prepared myself, reading books, seeing the shows, knowing that this wasn't the be-all to the end-all, but it was something. It was some information. It was some reference material. So when I was put on the spot, I was kind of ready for it. And then once I got my feet in and got my feet wet and dived in, from there, was no stopping me. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm in now. So from there on, it was like getting involved with doing the castings for Crystal Couture, because they brought me back the next year. They called me back and brought me back the next year to volunteer. So I got more doing the casting. So I got experience behind the long white table, okay, and judging and picking and ruining people's lives, and still coaching.
So I know I need to put my foot in the door somewhere.
You do. That's what you got to do. Go volunteer at some shows. Volunteer, I mean, if you want to be specific about it, volunteer at some menswear shows, you know, but just get into some shows, call them up, ask them, or if you see the postings on Facebook looking for volunteers, get into that. That's the only way that's going to help you figure it out on the other side of the fence. And get your feet wet that way. Meet some people, network, go to shows. Get some business cards at the ready so you can have them to hand out. Attend the shows, meet some people, talk to the designers, talk to some models. Attend one of my classes and check it out. I mean, you have been as a student, so you know how I operate. Then come to a class as a watcher, so to speak, and see how, and look at it from that other side. See what I have to do, see how I have to work with these students, see how I try to train them, instruct them. I know that sounded so like y'all are pests, like, you know, see how I train them, you know what I mean?
Because I know one thing that I created a fashion Instagram page, and what I'm going to do, actually, the gentleman who did your show, we did the David Perry show.
Yes.
So I contact him because I want to do a photo shoot with him, and I wanted to do.
Oh, you're talking about Eddie Patton?
Yes. Because I wanted to do a photo shoot with me with different poses and different places, and post that on my fashion page, and try to, you know, branch out from there and go from there. But I do know I need to go to different events, which I have not been doing.
That's the only way it's going to help you. That's how I had to. Cause when you don't know, you don't know. You don't know where to go. You don't know who to go to. I mean, for the most part, I didn't. You know, I mean, I was dreaming, reading books and watching the shows and all of that, but I had no clue. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know about any fashion shows. But the minute that door creaked open, because as I said before, I was attending the Art Institute of Washington. That's how I found out about that fashion show where Crystal Couture, where I went to go volunteer. My instructor, my fashion retail instructor, was like, "There's a new show coming up. They're looking for volunteers." You know? Yes. Okay. So when that door goes, you go, "Wow, hi." Okay. You're gonna have to put yourself out there. You're gonna have to take a chance on yourself.
Is there an age cutoff? Is there a time where you could just say, "Oh, hang it up," or I know that you said you wasn't doing management anymore.
Right.
Do you give references?
Yes.
You do give references?
I do that.
And okay, it was something. I have several.
I heard the question about the cutoff age for modeling.
Yes, body types. Is there a certain body type? Something else too. Oh yeah.
Well, those two are good so far.
I know. I wanted to really pace them out, but I noticed you long-winded. You don't want to get it in. I'm sorry. But,
I know, right?
I
gotta work on that.
You said that portfolio building.
Yes.
So do you have a photographer, or do you refer? Is there a shoot like in here? You know, what you suggest?
All right. First question. No, there is no age cutoff. the industry and certain people in this industry like to work with certain ages. They also like you to believe that by the time you're 26, you're over. And it depends, but you're never over. But it depends. Kind of compare it to being an athlete. You know, it's not over, but certain parts of the modeling you may have to update from. In the beginning, you're 13, 14, 15, and you're being discovered. And you start, building. You start building your portfolio and getting the pictures. So you're going to probably be doing a lot of shows, and for the most part, all you're going to be doing is doing a lot of photo shoots. Testing is what it's called. A lot of runway shows. Not so much you're going to be doing major campaigns in the beginning. Getting a major campaign in the beginning, that almost never happens. If it does, great, but it almost doesn't. You're going to be testing, you're going to be building. Then by a certain point, you are going to up the level of the shows you're going to be doing. You're going to start, if you have an agent or you're working freelance, but for both, one or the other, then you're going to start trying to get in touch with clients, working more with professional photographers, a little more upscale. You're going to be going to castings more, for print work. Be going to more go-sees, if you know what that means. Go see basically is exactly as it is. You're going to go see the client. Usually it's more personal. Is that correct, Gabrielle? It's not. You're not going to be in a whole room with a bunch of models. That's a casting. A go see is sort of an appointment, and you're literally going to see the client. Most likely, you'll have your portfolio that you'll hand to them that they'll go through in about 10 seconds or less. Thank you very much. We'll call you. They might keep your comp card. Most of the times they do, which is why you guys have to have comp cards. You have to start in the beginning. The minute you start work on building a portfolio. For a while there, you can have 10 pictures or less. You don't have to have a portfolio book this large. I'm saying this to let you know that as you get up there and as you build through, I'm trying to show that there is no age cutoff. What feels like an age cutoff is just you going to the next stage, okay? Because say you get 30, you can't be working like you were 18. Now you need to work like a 30-year-old woman. You need to do jobs like a 30-year-old woman. You need to start relating to your age and the people, your clients, the customers. You need to start relating to them that way. You might even phase out on, like Antonio, you might go into coaching, as you're getting older. You might want to get into coaching. You might start your own business. You might start your own agency. You may go into fashion design. But if you're still modeling, you have to be realistic about it. You have to model who you are at this moment, okay? You're no longer an 18 wide-eyed innocent anymore. Now you are a 30-year-old woman of the world. You got to find jobs that adhere to that.
Like, I did a show for Kanye, like when Kanye did the New York one. I did like bigger, and mind you, I'm super short. Like, not that I'm super short, but going back to your point, I'm 5'5". Like, realistically, it's kind of hard to really find options out there, but I do think it really goes back to you putting yourself out there as much as possible. Like, knowing that you are the best, like not putting limits on yourself.
Right.
Sometimes we go and we're like, well, I'm not going to go to that casting because it says 5'8" or more, but if you have a 5'8" walk, they're gonna pick you, and that's really what I started learning, and that's
all they can do is tell you no. I'm sorry,
yeah,
go.
That's the worst they can tell you.
That's the worst, right?
After a while, I was like, that's the worst they really can tell me is no.
Yeah.
But after a while, I was like, it's no.
I mean, try it. I would say don't do that as a habit
Yeah.
because sometimes you're gonna end up embarrassing yourself.
Right.
If they have specifications, live to those specifications. Don't try it. You know what I'm saying? But if you think there's an opportunity and a chance, try it. Okay? Or if you know somebody, use that get in. You know what I mean?
I have a story of embarrassing myself.
Uh-oh.
So one thing when it's Fashion Week, you see models everywhere. So sometimes I would follow them to see where they're going. So I crashed a casting.
Good. I would suggest that, but go ahead.
You shouldn't do that.
Right,
because
right.
they have a list of names, and so I get in there like, who's your agency? And my agency wasn't invited, so.
Oh.
I agency, and they're like, you're not on the list, but they still let me
See?
audition, but they were just like.
Did you get the booking?
No, I didn't. That was for, I think it was for Project Runway. I didn't get it, but
Yeah.
it's okay. But
Oh, they were, yeah.
yeah, so be careful with crashing, catching.
Right. I mean, you can do it.
But it sounds fun.
It is. But yeah, that something like that can happen. But yeah, I like your idea though.
You probably know them. Almost every photographer knows them. They're photography groups, and they meet up once a month, someplace in D.C. or Maryland, just as photographers. They hang out. One of them, I've been to their groups. Just I want to meet photographers. One had like 300 people they met in Union Station.
Wow.
And so what it is, they go to photography, but they want models to photograph just to practice.
Right.
So models would go there just to get photographs, and so your picture ends up on like 30 different Instagram sites.
Oh,
What's the
wow.
name of it again?
Yeah.
Portrait Meet DC.
Portrait.
Has anybody been to any of these?
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you go, cause like there won't a lot of. Well, I think now there's more models that go, but it's not that many models. A lot more photographers than models. So you'll be posing, and there'll be like 20 photographers around you, and you'll get a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
and
it's
meet a lot
like
of
one
people. It's
model
really cool.
to maybe 15 tops.
Portrait
They
meets
want more
DC
models.
and street.
Street Meet DC.
I'll check that out. Are you guys listening to that?
It's on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I,
Good.
We're putting it up.
Andrea, that's something I want you to. Good. There's another avenue right there.
A lot of those photographers I see there, I see them at fashion shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they're in
I think I want to go there myself just to see what it's like.
That's good. Like the lady who runs the group.
Uh-huh.
Her name's Icy, and she knows all the photographers.
Mm-hmm.
You look at her Instagram page, and she's like doing professional, photography, portrait photography.
Wow. Body type. Goes back to what I just said before. Find an agency that will represent you. It should say, do your homework and see. I had a book in here. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it. Nope, all the books I got. But there's another book I have. It's an old book, but it has a listing of New York agencies, all the New York agencies in the world. And I have another book that has a listing of all the agencies in the world. Models.com is a great website to go to. Models.com. They have a listing of agencies all over the world, all over the United States, every city, every town you can possibly think of. Go there and check that out, okay? And look at some of the agencies that are listed near us and go check them out. Go to their website, see what kind of models they're representing.
I have my vision.
Right.
But putting it in writing is just like, how do I do that?
And how
Even
do you,
though
like-
writing it down, you can do that, but putting it in writing is something very hard.
Oh, I
Like, who do
see.
you reach?
Reach out to and how do
Like,
you
just
word
that,
it?
I guess that part and like.
How do you
also-
promote yourself? How do you
Yes.
market yourself? See, I also need to start reaching out more to my fashion community, especially if I'm going to be doing the art of fashion on a regular basis. I need to reach out to these people. I need to invite them. So we need to start working on that now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, remember from a sponsor, from my aspect, we're a business. So all we
Or
care
reaching
about-
out to them, I guess, huh?
Yeah, because all we care about is money. I mean, bottom line, we're a business.
Right.
Right.
All we ask is how are we going to make $1 billion down the road somewhere.
Okay.
So when we look at everything, we look at it about money, money, money.
Got you.
And so when we look at something, we ask how professional it is, how well done is it executed, how can I
Okay.
work with that person or that organization to benefit them, so we cross benefit, so I help them, they help me to make money.
Yeah.
So it's all about money. And we don't, if you're a sloppy operation, we'll never return. Like I've been to, I won't name names, we've been to a fashion week here in DC, and it was
Whoa.
terrible. We said we will never come back and talk to these people ever again.
Wow.
I went to your first one.
Yeah, that was my first
Very,
one.
extremely well, very good
She
executed.
she's in there.
For your first show, it was extremely good. And so
Wow. You hear that, guys?
I didn't.
No, thanks.
I was,
But you can talk to me, Kevin.
you did a very good fashion. Great job. So we, as a business, we look at.
She was in the show, too.
I'd have to go back and look at the videos and the pictures. We think about money. We want, we don't have a bad representation. We want someone going somewhere.
Got
So,
it.
For anything, a business, a model, or something, we want to know, are you really striving to be your best?
Got
Are you
it.
really doing stuff that's going to attract attention? And we've talked about as a business, we'd like to sponsor model or a fashion designer, and we keeping it. We go to fashion shows, just pay attention to models and designers, and see if there's someone who's trying to be successful.
Exactly.
The other thing, I mean, you're not here. Bottom line is, we're not here to make
Issues
ourselves
right
feel
there,
good.
that's it.
We're going
Right.
to pay our bills
Exactly.
and enjoy a good life.
Especially when
We're
this
all here
becomes
to
your
make-
career. You can't be playing.
Whether you want to agree to it or not, we all want to make money.
Yes.
Pay our bills.
Thank you.
It's like a business, so.